This is Novel Marketing, the show for novelists who aren't necessarily fond of marketing, but still want to become best-selling authors.
Episode 147.
I'm James L. Rubart, but you can call me Jim.
I'm Thomas Umstadt Jr.
And in this episode, guys, we're going to talk to you about one of the greatest marketing books ever written and what we can learn from it and apply to our own marketing. But first, Thomas, I got to tell you that we have two new additions to our family.
Nice. You have had some babies?
We have had, yes, kind of. Not our babies, but we have adopted two little kittens. And I got to tell you, we're cat people. And at one time we had 4 cats in the house. They all died through various accidents and means. And so we have not had cats for 4 years. And I got to say, we are having a blast with these new additions.
I finally have understood cat people for the first time in my life. And
Really?
The appeal of cats is that they're not as emotionally needy as dogs. Like dogs require a lot of attention. And it's really hard to be in a house with a dog without the dog demanding your attention at that time. Whereas cats are totally okay with you not giving them your full undivided attention. They demand it at times, but they're also okay with you having your own life.
Exactly. Where you can go away for a weekend and leave the food out in the litter box and the cats are like, great, no problem. Whereas a dog, you really could not do that for a weekend. Be a lot harder.
Yeah. So I still consider myself, I'm allergic to both of them, so I don't have either, but I still consider myself a dog person, but I now feel enlightened to understand cat people for the first time.
I like it.
Quick announcement. We are only $4 away from our next Patreon goal. So
$4.
We are basically one patron away from funding the next level. So with Patreon, we have some stretch goals set up, and at $200 a month, which we're now at $196, we're going to start providing transcripts for the episode. So for those of you who'd prefer to read an episode or skim it rather than listening to it, we will start providing those. It's going to cost us money to do, but we'll unlock that at $200. So we just need one more person to back at the $5 level. And I will
let me ask you, Thomas, what do the 5 level patrons get? So
you get warm feelings knowing that you're keeping the show on the air. You get patron-only discussions. You get our monthly resource archive. You get epic discounts between 20 and 50% off basically everything we talk about on the show that we provide. So if we mention a course like the 5-year plan to becoming a best-selling author or the tax and business guide for authors, those are all 50% off for patrons. So you can get your $5 back immediately with those coupon codes. Also, all the plugins, you get 25% off the plugins. And the biggest bonus is you get a special Q&A episode. And we answer every question. So if you have a marketing question, Jim and I answer it on that Q&A episode. And the other thing we do is we give feedback on your book title and book blurb. And you get to hear the feedback from other authors' book titles and blurbs. You learn how to have a better title and a better blurb. So that's a really powerful element. And it's a special podcast feed. You subscribe to it the same way you'd subscribe to this show, but it's only for patrons at the $5 level or more. And then we have a second episode that comes out every month that's a bundle on a specific topic. And as if that's not enough, you also get one of Jim's books
there's more
for free. So anyway, we really do appreciate those of you who are patrons of the show. And you can find out more at patreon.com/novel marketing.
So the idea for this episode actually comes out of the brilliant mind of one of my mentors, a gentleman that's had a huge influence on my life and my marketing. His name is Roy Williams. And I heard this for the first time from him back in 2001. And I was in a gathering. He asked a group of us what we thought the best marketing book ever written was. And there was myriad answers, but none of us picked the one Roy had in mind. So Thomas and we're going to give you a second to think what you believe is the greatest marketing book. We'll give you just a second to think of that. All right. You got it in your mind?
It's not the Bible.
It's not? Okay, ready. Drum roll. Thomas, here we go. So Roy says one of the greatest marketing books ever written, and I agree, is Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. Yes, that is a marketing book. And some of you right now are going, really? Thomas, Jim, Prove that to me. So we're going to talk through just two of the points that book makes that we can apply to our own marketing efforts. So the first point is that Sam I Am, that character in the book, is one of the greatest marketing men ever. Why, Thomas? Why is he the greatest?
Because he's persistent.
He is persistent. And that is something that we don't execute in marketing enough. He markets his product to his potential buyer 16 times before he gets a yes. So if you remember the story, here's this guy trying to sell green eggs and ham. And was he not even trying to sell them? He just taste it. Would you like green eggs and ham? And he markets it 16 times. He closes the sale 16 times. Now, statistics tell us that the average salesperson asks twice. So if we are selling our product or our book, we feel like once, oh man, I'm really going to press the issue. I'm going to ask people to buy my book twice. And of course, we are all salespeople, whether we want to admit it or not. We are all selling a product. And in our case, it's books. Sam knew that the average sale is made when the customer is asked 5 times. So if we apply that to our books, we need to ask people, or in this case, promote it via our newsletter or social media and this sort of thing, at least 5 times. 3 to 7 times is what we need to do before someone will buy it. So let's just talk through how this might look. A potential buyer of your book, they see a post on Facebook, you list your novel on a book club site, their friends mention it, so there's some word of mouth. You write an article and mention your novel in your byline. Someone sees a 4 or 5 star review of your book on Amazon, you tweet about it, there's a review on Goodreads, maybe they hear you on an interview on the radio, you're on someone's blog talking about your novel. At that point, that's when they're ready to buy the book, after 3 to 7 exposures. So it just doesn't happen right away. And I know it's hard. Believe me, as an author, I'm preaching this message to myself right now, that you have to consistently promote your book. Frequency sells is what we used to say back in the days when I was selling radio advertising. Frequency sells. One time is not going to do it. It's great if you have enough money to have one fantastic Super Bowl ad, but you'll notice they don't just run it once. They run those ads after the Super Bowl. So in advertising, there's what's known as reach, right? Reaching a lot of people, and frequency. And the reality is you would rather reach 10% of the pond 100% rather than reach 100% of the pond. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. You would rather reach everybody in a small pond than just a few people in a large pond. And it comes back to getting that message out consistently and frequently, over and over again. Thoughts on that, Thomas?
Yeah, so how do you do that without coming across as obnoxious? And because we all know that person on Facebook where the only reason they're in a Facebook group is to post a link to their book, and that's all they ever do is talk about their book, and people just don't want to see it, and they're like, oh, please stop talking about this. Like my wife is complaining, one of her old college friends is in one of these network marketing programs, and that she reaches out to my wife every few years, and that's the only reason. So, like, she just wants to talk about that thing, and I was like, I don't want to buy your Plexus products. So how do you not come across as that person while still getting this frequency?
Yeah, that's the second lesson that Sam teaches us in this book, and this is brilliant, and this is the key. Sam knows that he can't promote the same way with the same message again and again and again, because that does become a pain in the backside, like you were just saying, that Margaret's going, oh, shut up. I'm so annoyed. So Sam actually came up with 16 different options, 16 ideas, 16 new ways of thinking about green eggs and ham. And he presented his product differently. So he said, would you like them in a box? Would you like them with a fox? Would you like them in a house? Would you like them with a mouse? Would you like them on a train? Would you like them here or there? Would you like them in the rain? He came back presenting it from a different angle each time. So it is fresh and new to the potential buyer.
So what does that look like? And let's make that really practical. What does that look like on, like, what am I doing today that's different than what I'm doing tomorrow?
Yeah. So you might create 16 different memes for your book. You might present your book one time, just a straight out ad. You might present your book another time with people reading your book in crazy places. You might the next time have quotes from your book. You might the next time have people who have read your book and loved it, and they're giving you an endorsement for the book. Not other authors, but I mean people who have actually read it. You might go to your core listeners and say, hey, do me a big favor. I would love to put you on my Facebook page. Just record a quick video about what you liked about the book. The next time you're bringing questions out that the book brings up in people. The next time you're doing really cool quotes from the book. The next time you're doing a video talking about the book. The next time you're doing a video, Facebook loves video, right? The next time you're doing a video, if you can do this, where you're talking about trivia from the book. It's just coming at it from a different angle every time, so it's fresh and new and different, and not just the same thing hitting you over the head.
Okay, so other than the posting about it on Facebook, because most people don't see most posts on Facebook, how else can we increase that frequency outside of social media?
Yeah, you can increase it through your newsletter list, and you can do that by giving other people ideas on how they can share it with their friends. To get real practical, why does something go viral? Well, because it's entertaining and it's funny, or it's really provocative, or it's really thought-provoking. And so your biggest fans are going to be those core readers who respond to you when you send an email out to your newsletter list. Those are the ones that always respond. Thank you, Jim. Hey, this was a great email. Thanks for sending that one out. You can create this little private team of those people, and you can say, hey, new book coming out. I'm going to do this and this and this. Would you send this on to people? Would you send this on to your friends? And if you give them something entertaining to do, then that becomes powerful word of mouth. You give them the tools to do it in a creative way, and suddenly you have this team of people that's promoting you to their friends.
So it's an example of how to make that entertaining. Because I get a lot of these emails, and a lot of them are very boring. And I'm like, why should I share your book? What's in it for me?
Well, you got to go back to the content of the book, and it would be fun to brainstorm. And maybe this is even something we can do for our patrons, Thomas, to brainstorm. All right, how do you take the subject of your book and make it really entertaining? I'll give you an example from my own books, and I did this. I think it was in my second novel from the Wellspring series, and I had this character. Maybe it was the third novel in the Wellspring series, but anyway, it was the street magician. So I've got this street magician character in my book, and I did that intentionally because every trick he did in the novel I could actually do because I love sleight of hand. And so I created a video of me doing one of the tricks in the book for people. So that's the kind of thing that if that trick really blows you away, it's really easy for you to go, oh, you got to see this trick Jim did. That's actually in the book. That's something where it's not usual, it's different, it's entertaining, and it's probably worth forwarding on.
Yeah, I would say one of the best ways of doing this where it's not annoying is to do it as an advertisement. So Amazon ads, Facebook ads, because people are used to seeing things there, and frequency in advertising is received better than a lot of frequency in like a regular social media post or a regular email. You can do some there, but you can burn out your list if you send too many emails. But you can advertise a book for months on Facebook without people getting tired of it, especially if you're changing up the images and changing up the messaging from time to time. And the key there, and we've talked about advertising in the last few episodes ago, is to make sure that your cost of reader acquisition is covered with the profit from the book. So often it means raising the price of your book $1 or $2 per copy to cover that advertisement. But that can be a very effective way to get that frequency up, is to just buy ads. And this is right now one of the most effective ways of selling books, because we're talking about Sam I Am and the train, and the plane. It's like, where is somebody most likely to buy your book when they're already in a mood for buying books, when they're browsing Amazon looking for a book to read? And so that's like, of all of the places, one of the easier places, and having really good frequency there is like every time they do a search for a key phrase related to your book, if they're searching for that kind of book, you keep appearing over and over again. They're like, wow, this book must be amazing. Then they click to learn more.
The final thought on this, Thomas, is what's something else Sam did is he promoted with passion. It's obvious this guy believed in his product. And it's hard for us as authors. We go through this when we're writing the book. I just turned in my latest manuscript and it's like, I don't know, is it good? Does it have any quality to it and all this? But ultimately we have to decide, wow, we poured our blood, sweat, and tears in this. We wrote this book. We slaved over it for 6 months or 9 months or a year to create it. We have to go, wow, I believe in this book or I wouldn't have done it. Consequently, I really believe it can help people. It can change their life. And so, because of that, I'm not promoting it to bring attention to myself. I'm promoting it because I really believe this is going to help people. I think Sam was saying, these green eggs and ham, you will really like them. They will taste really good. They will fuel your body. And I know I'm writing in a little subtext here, but it's obvious to me Sam believed in his product with passion. So believe in your books with passion.
And I think that's pretty easy. I think most people already believe in their books. And another way to
but they believe. I think they believe in their books, but they're still, and maybe I'm just speaking out of my own heart, but still, they sometimes can be hesitant to go, oh my gosh, you got to read this book. I really think it'll change your life.
It's true. There are different kinds of authors, and some are very shy. And if that's you really, like, some authors need to tone it down. It's like, oh my gosh, talk about something else, be an interesting human being. But other people, it's like, I've known you for 6 months and I had no idea you wrote a book. It's like, there is a happy medium there. And I think that you know where you are on that continuum. If you're talking about it too much, if you're not talking about your book enough, to find that good balance, because it is important. Like, you owe it to your book to let people know about it. And I will say a really easy way to boost that frequency is to write a second book. So, people who write a book every month, they have just a very natural frequency because people are constantly hearing about their books and there's something new worth talking about, right? So if you send out 2 or 3 emails about each book that comes out and you're writing a book every month, well, gosh, that's almost an email every week. Like, that is the kind of frequency that gets people to really sit up and take notice. And that's why the authors who are writing at that pace are making so much money. The authors who are able to do that are making 6 figures plus, because they're getting the synergy where 1 + 1 = 3, because the books are coming out so rapidly. They're cross promoting each other and they're creating a lot of energy. And it's easier to do that when you have a lot of books coming out than when you only have 1 book a year coming out. And it's like, you have to find a way to talk about that book all year, and that can be exhausting. Whereas if you're only having to talk about a book for a month, man, that's a lot easier.
Easier to do. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Our sponsor is the Rubart Writing Academy. Jim, Rubart, tell us about that.
Yeah, I know a few things about it. Oh my gosh, Thomas, the coolest thing about this is we went into this not knowing, Taylor and I, it's like, well, we hope it's going to be something that helps people, but we weren't sure, just like anything you go into. And people are just coming out of this just going, oh my gosh, this was life altering. It was about writing, yes, but it was so much more than that. And we see our students stepping into who they truly are, stepping into their identity, stepping into their destinies. And yes, we give them this customized roadmap that will help them reach their publishing dreams. But even more satisfying to Taylor and I is seeing their lives transformed. So if you want to know more about this, our next live event is this October 25th through the 28th. It's limited to 9 students. We have 4 signed up at this point. So if it is something you'd like to explore further, we encourage you to do it quickly. Just go to rubartwritingacademy.com and click on the Academy button. You'll see a short video, and then you can learn more down below. We would love to have you join us in October.
All right. We have a new segment we're going to get to called Mailbag, where we're going to read your feedback to the show. But first, really quickly, we have a featured patron, The Land Without Color. Jim?
Yeah, The Land Without Color, Benjamin Ellefson. And I've gotten to know Benjamin a little bit, and these are really, he's got 3 books. These are really cool. We're just going to tell you about the first one. The first one is called The Land Without Color. Here's the story. So when Alvin gets a mysterious pack of gum for his birthday, he of course blows a bubble as large as he can. But when that bubble carries him away to a far off land where everything is gray, he is in for the adventure of his life, and more than a little danger, because he's the only one that can restore the kingdom of color to its former glory. To do it, Alvin has to battle man-eating plants, outsmart the bumbling Crimson Guards, cross the sugar desert, overcome the two-headed dragon, and find the color-stealing goblins. It's dangerous, scary, impossible, but it is the only way to restore color to the kingdom.
All right. And thank you so much, Benjamin, for being a patron of the show. We really appreciate you helping us keep this show on the air.
And now, Thomas, is it time for mailbag?
It's time for a mailbag. And this is from...
New feature.
Yes. Danny Floyd, and he wrote us a note. He said, "Great episode as always," referring to our episode about lead magnets, which we got a lot of great feedback on. If you have not listened to that episode, you should go back and listen to it. He said, "I followed your advice, wrote a short story a few weeks back, and put it in BookFunnel. I gained about 40 subscribers, wherein I used to only get 1 or 2 a month. So that's what, a 5,000% increase or 10,000% increase. It's very good. But as you suggested, I made a great cover and wrote an enticing blog post about the short story." And he said he also added it to my book table, and we have a link to it so you can see his my book table. So Danny, thank you for using my book table. So it's there on a pop-up, and I put it on social media. Thanks for all of the great novel marketing advice. I'm telling everyone about you, and I know of several who've signed up as a result. So thank you so much, Danny. And we do encourage you to send us notes if you're putting what we talk about into practice. If you give us links to that, we will share them potentially where our listeners can go and check out your websites. You may get some bonus traffic to your website and help other people. Some people, it helps them to see it. And if they can see other authors putting it into practice, it helps them as well. So do drop us a line. You can do it on novelmarketing.com or in our new Facebook group. So we do encourage you to join the Facebook group. We have an official discussion thread for every episode. We've been having a lot of fun discussing the episodes with you. And sometimes y'all fact check us, or sometimes you provide additional information. And so to really get the true novel marketing experience, you have to check the official discussion thread on the Facebook page.
The official one, exactly. Stay away from the unofficial one. Just go with the official.
And by page, I mean group. I should be
yes.
clear here. But if you find the page, Novel Marketing on Facebook, there's a button that takes you to the group right there. You can like the page, we'll post stuff there, but Facebook will hide everything in the page. But you should still be able to see what gets posted to the group.
Yes, so we will see you there. And as you know, you've been listening to James L. Rubart and Thomas Umstead Jr. on the Novel Marketing Podcast, giving you novel ideas on how to promote yourself and your writing offline, online, and everywhere in between. Thank you so much for listening.